So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and yeah, I think I've found my perfect girl. The AMX M4 51, the tier 9 French heavy tank. Isn't she beautiful? You can forget your togs, your little shaffies, your lookses. I think this one's just beautiful. Okay, so she's got a big head. Very, very big head. But she's French, right? But isn't she gorgeous? So, it's a little early to call this, but I don't care. I'm going to call this. I absolutely adore this tank. I think it's probably one of my most favourite tanks in the entire game. I just think it just is a heavy that just works for my playstyle. I can be aggressive in it. Yeah, I've got a good gun if I want to go sniping. I think this is just an awesome tank. Let's have a look at it where it sits in the tech tree. Obviously it's in the new French heavy line. So you come off the ARL 44 into the AMX M4 45, which is a tank people love and hate. Yeah, probably more hate than love. And then you go up to the new line, the 65T, which is the ugly duckling, a tank I used to love and then decided I don't anymore because it's just too damn slow. Then on to this beautiful AMX M4 51, and then finally on to the M4 54, which is the tier 10, which I don't hear quite such good things about, but the rate I'm enjoying playing this thing, it won't be long before I finally grind my way up. So what about this tank? Well, it's a prototype tank. It would never actually saw service. It was developed in 1949, basically from the tier 7 variant, the M4 45 or whatever it was. And basically they put extra armor on the front of it, so it was the same sort of tank with a better gun and better armor. That was kind of the model they worked on with this thing, and it kind of, if you played the things like the Liberté, the premium tier 8 French heavy tank, you'll be very familiar with its playstyle. It's got a lot of frontal armor but not much armor anywhere else, and as a result it's kind of fairly nimble for a heavy tank, and I think that's what I like most. It also has these Mickey Mouse ears on the on the cupola there. Now, big caveat here is that I'm using an all-girly crew, so I've got a whole girl French crew. The girls are back in town. I used all my Christmas girlies to fit out this crew, and I think I must have already had a lady which I put in as the commander, so they're a pretty good crew. So when you see this playing, you know, caveat, I always say this in my videos, is that you watch so many people playing these tanks or reviewing these tanks, and they're just like godlike in them because they've got damn good crews. So anyway, let's have a look at this thing. Well, first of all, let's start with the researching of it. So you unlock it with the base, I think the best gun anyway. It comes with two variants of the gun, the 120mm gun and the 127mm gun. Basic difference is the 120 has better penetration and rate of fire, the 127 has better alpha. So it depends what you like. If you like the big boomsticks, 470 is the average on that one, whereas this one is only 400. But I think for me, I would much rather use a gun that has more penetration to lose just, what did I say, 70 average damage. It just, to me, it feels that's a better option. So you will need to unlock the tracks to get the better turret, but basically it means from the get-go this thing is fairly usable. The gun on it is good. The mobility is okay with the stock engine, so you know you've got an effective tier 9 tank pretty much from the get-go. There are quite a lot of modules to install. Obviously tracks, 2 new engines, radio nobody cares about, but I think you already have that one if I remember rightly. It's already, yeah, look at that, it's on pretty much every French tank, so you don't need to worry about that. And the increased turret. Now the turret is worth having. If nothing else, it gives you more armor. So another 50mm armor. The base stock turret is 250, 80, 60, the upgraded turret is 380/40, so much better. Also, traverse speed, I can't speak for a minute, traverse speed is better by 2 degrees per second with the upgraded turret, and your view range goes up 10 meters to 380. You just only sacrifice half a kilo, no, 500 kilos, that's it, for that one. So it's not much of a loss to get a considerably better turret, and you will need to upgrade the turret anyway if you're heading down to the tier 10. However, I would say just keep at the tier 9 so far. Okay, so let's go back into the garage and have a little bit more. Let's move the girlies back out again, just to see whether that helps with showing the stats off, because I want to show you what they look like without a monstrously good crew. So here we go. So yeah, it does allow me to say that. So as I say, there's 2 guns on this thing. You've got the 120 and then the 127. Let's move them side by side. There we go. So this is a theme on the tier 10 as well, I believe. You have the 2 options of guns depending on how you want to play it. So the stock engine has 5.36 rounds per minute, as opposed to the upgraded gun that has 451 rate of fire. So you've got nearly an extra round a minute there with the 120mm gun. You also get extra penetration, as I said, 257, 315 with the stock gun, 242, 270, which is really poor with the premium ammunition on the upgraded gun. So your penetration is pretty lackluster, really. 242 at tier 9 and only 270 when you hit the skill key. It is pretty poor, I think, with the top gun, so I would always use the stock gun. 400 average damage with the stock gun, 470 with the upgraded gun. Dispersion is also better on the stock gun, 0.34 versus 0.36, which is pretty damn good, and 2 seconds aim time versus 2.3. And also, if it's not worse, the bigger gun weighs more, or the upgraded gun weighs more, nearly 500 kilos more. So extra weight means you don't move as quick. So to me, the stock gun, so to speak, the first gun, is the one of preference, and that's giving me 2,000. Okay, so I've got gun rammer and I've got vents counting towards this, which is giving me nearly 300. But even with that, 2,500 DPM is pretty darn good. So what's that, 220-ish? 2,200 rather, basic without any equipment, which is pretty darn good. Also, dispersion goes down to 0.32 with the vents, and aim time is an excellent 1.88 with the vents. So you've got a really good gun as a stock gun. Survivability, well, this is where it gets interesting. So 1900 hit points is actually pretty darn good, and the armor is 180, 60 and 40 on the side. So that frontal plate is very strong, because it's quite well angled, and even that lower plate is very well angled. As I say, with the top turret, 380, 40 is also very good indeed. But let's have a look at the Tanks GG site to get into a bit more detail. So here we are in Tanks GG, and the armor profile is very impressive indeed, at least from the front. That's the big proviso. So that front plate pointing straight at you, let's get the gun, there we go, straight at us, is 254, which is very nice indeed. The side plates here, these little epaulettes if you want to call them, 300 plus, so never going to be penetrated. Auto pens there. However, as is the case with these sort of tanks, a bit like the IS-3, when you angle too much, you make these side plates much flatter, much easier to pen, so that's below 200 there. However, this front plate becomes even more effective. So yeah, that's your choice. If you can get to a situation where there's a building and you can hide this epaulette and side straight, then this becomes even more of a brute than it is already, frankly. Lower plate is not much for a weak spot. Is that even? Yeah, it's 120 base armor, but giving me 237 for penetration, and this middle strip is 250, which is pretty darn good. Turret is like titanium, really. So all this area here is 400 plus, and look at the 500 there. Look at that, auto bounces and ricochets. Now it's possible you could get a shot trap here if you can hit under here and bounce it down onto there, but you're clutching at straws, frankly. The side cheeks also very, very strong. This thing's 500 auto bounce territory all the way around the edge of the gun, and the gun itself, I mean, look at this gun mantle, 500, 600. This area here, this top bit is a bit, oh, where's that one I was looking at? There we go. So that is 300, 200 and something around that little strip there, 290. 280 spaced armor there, and nothing behind it in terms of armor. So if you're desperate and you've got premium rounds firing sort of at this strip, actually it seems like, where is that weak spot again? Oh, it's just above that weak spot, so it's here. That's where you need to hit it, but good luck doing that. So the front of the armor in front of the turret is fantastic, but the converse is not so true on the side of the turret and the side of the tank itself. Only 80 millimeters of side armor. Yeah, good luck there. 60 on the tank side. Rear 40 millimeters, 40 millimeters. It's really all about that frontal armor. It's all about being up front in this thing. That's the only way to play it. So very, very good armor, although you've got to watch out for these shoulders here. That's your weak spot on the front, at least, and also your sides, obviously, and rear. But then that's ever the same with most heavy tanks. But this thing has got a huge, huge turret, so it's if you get side onto one of these things, there's plenty of things to aim for that's going to make a mess of it. 73, 74 tons, something like that. 1,100 horsepower engine gives it, which is the top engine, gives it nearly 15 power ratio, which is very, very good indeed. Top speed of 40, which is very good for a heavy tank, and traverse speed of nearly 30 degrees per second. So it's a pretty mobile heavy, which I think is again one of the things I like about it. Camo values, well, forget it. It's a heavy, 5.49 stationary and concealed, which is just, but it's a heavy tank. You're not going to be hiding. You shouldn't be hiding in a bush. I'm not going to say you aren't going to be, but you certainly shouldn't be. View and range, as I said, with the top turret is 380, which is pretty reasonable. Signal range 800 meters. So you have a tank that is very much get into the front, brawl it out with the enemy heavies, as long as you can keep that armor pointing straight at the enemy. You know, a little bit of angling, but if you over angle too much and people know what they're doing, they'll put it through these epaulets, these shoulders on the front. And also you just can't let tanks get around the side and rear of you, or you are dead. But you've got a very high DPM tank with a pretty good mobility for a heavy. So let's put the girlies back in. So as I say, I've got my all-girl crew here. They're on there. Well, obviously they get their brother or sisterhood of whatever it is. Brothers in Arms is rebranded, and as free, and then they're on their the second stroke third skill at the moment, and that's getting me a DPM. Is that improving? Yeah, there we go. So it's getting my DPM to 2,600. My dispersion of 0.31, aim time of 1.83, so all very, very good. And what's my view range now? Oops, come on, scroll down, there we go, 418. And I don't have any special view range equipment here. Just the commander has the starter recon on her, and the radio lady has situational awareness. So very, very effective. So anyway, enough flaffle, let's get going and play a couple of games. So here we are, a mid-tier game on Live Oaks. Now, one of the slight weaknesses of this tank, and I say slight because I really, really like it, and if it had everything was perfect, right, it'd be ridiculously OP. But one of the slight weaknesses I think this tank has is its gun depression. It's just needs to be another couple of degrees, you know, just like, boys, we could do with a couple of extra inches. No, I'm not going to go there. Yeah, a couple of extra degrees would be really nice, but, you know, it's not terrible, but it just seems like if you really get into a hold down position, sometimes it can be quite tough to poke your gun over and cause mayhem. You have to come over a little bit more than you'd kind of like to get the shot, but this one is not a bad map for us, and going south I think is the option of choice. So I didn't go north because I didn't really want to come up against all the super heavies, and of course what do I encounter this way? All their big heavy tier 10s come this way. There's a Carnarvon, there's a WZ1115A. Hello Carnarvon, have a big 447 hit. Been spotted. There are 2 enemy artillery, so you've got to keep moving. See here, I'm trying to get the gun down, but that gun depression isn't quite there. It's okay, but it's not quite there. But what I do love about this thing, just fits my playstyle, the ability to move forward relatively quickly, you know, for a heavy tank, and the gun is punchy. Remember, I am only using supposedly the stock gun, but I will continue to use this gun because I think I prefer the extra penetration over the less penetration but more alpha gun that is the top gun. So the only good thing I guess about the 127mm gun, there we go, there's the gun depression. I had to go over the hill to get onto that WZ. Now you can see the map situation is we've got not many tanks facing us here. We took down that Carnarvon. Most of the enemy tanks are fairly well back, and I'm thinking, sod it, we've got to get rid of this guy. So I decide we're going for it, and I'm hoping that somebody comes with me. Take a big hit from that tier 10 Chinese heavy tank. Luckily the guys come over to support me, put one into his, and look at that UDES. I'm not sure whether that was a ram kill or whether it was his gun, but one way or another he took down he took down the WZ. Anyway, or was it RWZ did? I don't know, whatever, he's down, and suddenly it's 6-2. And you know, that's the kind of thing I like in this tank. You can suddenly go, right, screw it, I'm going in, and you've got the mobility to go forward. So the gun depression is a bit of a downer. Now I'm not blocking much damage in this game, but I am getting to show you the mobility and the punchiness of the gun. It's a nice gun. 9.25 second reload for me with this crew. It is a good crew. It's on my girlies that I got at what was it, Christmas I guess. 4 of the crew from there, and I had one already prepared. Here's one I had prepared earlier to go to the commander. So it's a 5-lady crew. No jokes about lady drivers, please. She's doing very well at the moment, and I love my little girlies very much. So pushing up onto towards the enemy base. This game has been little one-sided. Now I saw a lot of our team went back, but I thought, well, what's the point of that? If we all go back, we might as well continue to put pressure on their cap, and so that's what I decided to do. And I think that was the right call myself, because look at those guys, they've taken ages to get round, and they're only just coming into contact, and most of the enemy tank appear to have pulled back. So I'm trying now to get some long-range shots on those guys out there. They just keep hiding behind that building. Will you stop hiding, please? Just can't quite get enough of an outline there. Oh, that was such a shame. That shot was perfectly lined up. Take a shot from the Waffle Tiger out there. Block a T-95 shot. Pull back into cover. There are 2 artillery still in this game. Now whether they could hit me here I don't know, but I'm not going to risk it for a biscuit, because therein lies the way to madness and death. Come on, that's a nice shot into the E4's rear, or side, sorry. Both of those die, so I don't get another shot. Is that Waffle Traeger viewable? No, he's behind the building. Nobody there, they're all behind buildings. So I'm putting a shot into that building just to see whether I can take it down and get a shot through it, but he's already dead, so that's game over. So only 4 enemy tanks left. So we're going to roll, see if we can get a little bit of damage before the game ends. Only done 2,200, 1,400 assistance. Oh, there's a UDES there. Now that's where this gun is not the best. So against the 30mm sloping armoured tanks, using the 120 gun doesn't allow you to get auto pens on those Swedish TDs. If you use the 127 you would be able to. Firing on the move, very good, and he is dead. There you go, that is victory. Victory for my girlies, good job. So just a fire for effect badge for that one. Finished up, where did I finish? 4th on the team? Yeah, 4th on the team for base XP, 2,606 damage, 749 base XP, fired 9 shots, hit with 6 of them, penned with those 6 for that 2,600 damage. I took 3 shots myself, 2 of which penned, 1 didn't. Was being hit in the side, and that kind of is not what you want in this tank. 1,400 assistance damage, which boosted my score nicely. Also got extra 10,000 credits because of these missions that have been running. 45,000 base credits plus the 10,000. Didn't really need to fire any premium, so made a nice profit of 31. Obviously would have been 21 without the missions at the moment. Times 2 for the day, plus another bonus for playing those missions, gave me 2,810 experience for the crew. So pretty reasonable game. Quite enjoyed it. Just shows the mobility and I guess just really the mobility of that tank and the limitations on the gun depression. You do sometimes, I find that often I can't quite get the gun down enough. I need to go a little bit further over a hill than I would ideally like to. But anyway, you can't have everything in a tank, even one as pretty as this. Okay, so Tundra. Tier 10 game, of course. Only a 5-10 game. I use this mobility of this tank. I love this tank. Have I mentioned that before? It's not outstanding in every department. It's just a really good, solid heavy. It's fast. It's got a good gun. It's got a bit of armour on the front. Well, a lot of armour on the front. I just really, really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. My win rate was outstanding at the beginning. It's suffered a little bit lately, but that's not because of the tank. That's my inability to play well at tier 9 games. But anyway, coming up the hill here using the speed, you can see we got up here reasonably quickly. We're ahead of all the other heavies. Well, yeah, apart from that IS-7 because they're just Russian. And it's it's a bit busy up here. Let me in. Can I have a shot, please? Please, can I have a shot? There's a bloody blue IS-7 in the way. Look at that Jesus colours. Look at that. And normally, if I was on something like a fast medium, I might try and break up that hill, but I'm not going to risk it here. This is just. I was thinking about it, but I'm just going to get hit in the side by half a dozen big angry heavy tanks, and this thing does not have any side armour. I think I can see that E5 coming down. See the E5 coming down through the middle area? I better go and do something about him. And how the hell's I spotted at that point? I have no idea. So he knows I'm coming now, which is rather disappointing. I was hoping I might get at least one dirty shot without him spotting me. Not really available? No. There's the E5. Aim for the commander's hatch. Nice. 404 hit. 6th sense went off. He knows I'm here. Another shot into the cupola, and I blocked his return fire. Good stuff. And grill up there? No. That time didn't go through, which is disappointing. Worried about that grilly above. Come on, give me a little bit to shoot at. Come on, you know you want to. Come on, stop wiggling. God damn it. Reloading with a skill round because I need to get rid of this guy because I'm being held up. He misses me. That was a blind shot from him, I think. Can't quite get on this cupola. There we go. Right. Only 341 that time. variability on the rolls is just amazing. Now I can hide my shoulder on that rock. There you go. So he's only got my angled frontal plate to deal with. Can I finish him off? Ah, somebody else got him just as I fired. Damnation. Oh well. I think I won that shootout. I took 1,476 of his health. He took nothing of mine. And you can see again the mobility. I'm in the water here, and yet I'm moving pretty quickly for a heavy tank. This is a heavy tank, remember? You're right, I've got to get around behind those guys pushing up the hill. Just a quick scan to make sure there's nothing around to my left. There's an AMX going up there, so I think I'm pretty secure. That pattern can't really do anything where he is at the moment. Should get good warning if he moves. Right, so we need to take some of the pressure off these guys. Type 4 heavy, you can have one up your side because you're a tough nut to crack. We finish him off. Somebody else did, so okay, E4 now. Boom, nice into him. 415 on him. I took a hit from the 5A. But I want that baby. Drop down, get hull down and block his return shot, even though it's a heat shell. Block that nicely. Can we get a kill on him? No, unfortunately not. Swing round again. The mobility of this thing is just awesome. Push up the hill. Let's see what we can get. Oh, they're just dying. They're only two left. I don't think I'm going to get anything else on this game. Skoda's down. Just that T49. I'm fast, but I'm not as fast as he is. He's going to take our AMX apart. He does. Blimey, he takes our AMX apart. Now where's he going? He's dropping down the middle. Right, let's try and head him off. Where is it? Let's cut across here. Where's he gone? There he is. Right, let's go. Oh, and I missed. The gun bounced just as I went for the shot. Ah, damnation. Damnation. That was a pretty good result. Shows the mobility of the AMX. I obviously just couldn't get a shot in that middle area on the hill there, so I just thought, right, let's go around, and won that firefight with that E5 quite convincingly. Just really like this tank. It just fits my style. I like the fact you can bounce a few shells. I like the fact that you can pen things relatively easily. The gun on it is very, very good indeed. So we came out with a third class sharpshooter and fire for effect. Fourth on my team, 2,699 damage, 1 kill, 975 base XP, fired 11 shots, hit with 9 of them, penned with 7. Did use a little bit of premium to get that, but hey, I was up against an E5. Took 3 shots, 1 penned, 2 did not. 41,700 credits and 13,700 profit, which is good, and massive ×5 running. So 7,315 XP for the crew. Really, really good. Also got, what did I get here? World of Tanks Anniversary. Oh, special camo and an emblem. Thank you. Very nice indeed. Good. Well, there you go. So the AMX M4 51 Tier 9 French heavy tank. Is it a good tank? Hell yes, it's a good tank. Even a noob like me can have some good results in this, and I just find it really fun. If you like your tanks, sort of fairly heavy tanks, fairly mobile with good guns, but still having a bit of armour, then this line is for you. I'm a bit concerned that I hear that the Tier 10 isn't anywhere near as good as this Tier 9, but well, you know, tier for tier, because bearing in mind, of course, this one will occasionally be top tier, so you won't have to fight tier 10s all the time, whereas a tier 10 is always fighting tier 10s, and very rarely gets a top tier game. So yeah, this thing, very, very nice. Great mobility, pretty good survivability because of that armor. You do have to watch these shoulder blade things here, but this gun is awesome. I haven't yet, I'm not far unlocking the top gun, but I'm not even sure I'm going to bother with it. Really not sure. Mind you, I might as well, because I'm not intending to rush to get the tier 10 yet, so yeah, but it's been a joy to play. Really enjoyed it. Good fun tank, very good gun, very maneuverable. Now obviously bear in mind I am using an all-girl crew. They are now coming towards the end of their, well, sort of second half of their third skill, so bear that in mind. It does make a big difference to the ability of any tank when you've got a decent crew in it. But you should do by the time you get to tier 9 anyway. You should have a half decent crew in the tank, so really good. Like this tank lots. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this quick look at the AMX M4 Melee 51, the tier 9 Frenchie. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about this tank down below. Do you dread seeing it in battle? I can't say I dread seeing it, but I know it's going to be a challenge. So anyway, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I will see you again soon. This is GamerDom, signing out.